Our guests Daniel Hit the Kwan and Daniel Shindig, collectively known as the Daniels, are an Oscar-winning pair of directors and writers known for their groundbreaking films, including last year's Best Picture winner, Everything Everywhere All at Once, which premiered right here at South by Southwest. Daniels, welcome. How we doing?
Hello.
Thank you. We're doing good. We're a little tired. We just got off the stage doing a keynote, and right before that, we were at the Oscars. So it's been kind of like a, I don't know. It's been fun, but like this is gonna be really chill.
Yeah.
Very chill.
Last night I saw you.
To relax here on this couch with you.
Do you want to lay down right now? I mean, make it a whole therapy session.
Maybe the second half.
Maybe second half. When things get really heavy,
then
then we'll just kind
I've
of.
done therapy in a minute. I could use it.
I'm not licensed, but I'll do my best.
Neither is his therapist.
Yeah, I just found this lady.
Just walked off the street and said, like, hey, hear my problems, please.
Yeah.
So you guys have had such a crazy trajectory when it comes to your careers. One of my favorite things to do is point out the Turn Down for What music video and see you humping a TV very aggressively and say, ladies and gentlemen, one of your directors for Everything Everywhere All at Once. And that just sparks a crazy story of you guys did commercials, you did music videos, and now you're Best Picture winners. Like, can you talk to us about evolving as filmmakers through all of this?
For sure.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like, people would ask us questions while promoting Everything Everywhere, about like sudden success, and it would make me reflect on the opposite thing, that I'm kind of grateful that we've been doing this together for 15 years, not always for money, but we met each other and started making stuff about 15 years ago. And so it didn't feel like overnight. We got a little bit of training and practice making things and learning how we like to make movies.
And we messed up a lot. We
Mm-hmm.
there are definitely a lot of projects that none of y'all have seen, and that's fine by me. But like, it's been a learning process. The nice thing is, like, looking back, you can see the through lines, right? You can see we've always wanted to have fun. We always are seeking to surprise our audiences, but also just give people something incredibly personal and hopefully authentic. And we're also
jokes about butts.
Yeah, lots of almost everything is
Butts
a butt joke.
and
Yeah,
dildos.
right. Yeah,
You know, everything in between.
Exactly. That's our trademark. Yeah.
But
Spielberg has his like, his close-up shots. We have our butt shots.
But
Put that down.
But everybody else is fully encouraged to put butts in their movies too. I don't want it to be our trademark. I want it to be,
Just for everybody.
people.
Just a part of being human.
Yeah.
Butts are for everybody. You know, that's the trademark there. So your film, Swiss Army Man, which, by the way, anytime somebody comes up to me and says, "Oh, I loved Everything Everywhere All at Once," I'm like, you have to watch Swiss Army Man if you love that. So I try to be like your number one champion in that way.
Thank you.
That's great.
But these films push narrative boundaries, right? And I've been describing you guys as kind of the spearheads of the wins for creativity. We had Jesse Eisenberg on the couch earlier, who's promoting Sasquatch Sunset, right? And movies like this, movies like
Was he in
Godzilla Minus
costume?
One. No, he was not, unfortunately. But he was really regretful about it.
Right.
Yeah,
should be.
he
That's
really
probably for the best.
Yeah, probably not for me. I would have loved to have Sasquatch on my couch. You guys just do so well at kind of like, again, pushing those boundaries, telling stories that nobody else is telling, and I believe it's truly inspiring everyone else to kind of do the same in Hollywood. So can you talk to us about like what drives that need to just pretty much do what you want?
We didn't realize we were doing this at first, but like we joke or talk a lot about like chasing the algorithm being like what we did straight out of college. Was just like we were just trying to get people to click on our music videos on YouTube.
Right.
And this is like a long time ago, before we even had the language to talk about it. Like no one knew how the algorithm was working. No one was even using the term algorithm. But
I was always like, we were both inspired by really weird things, and then that felt useful in that context, and then it just became something that like informed. I think helped us discover what we're good at and what we like to do, which is to chase after strange, surreal experiences, and then put something we deeply care about in there, so it isn't a waste of our time or the audience's. But it started with just like trying to get those clicks, like and subscribe, and then a lot of shame helped us learn some lessons and try to inject something useful in there. We're like, oh my God, this is so empty. Don't like and subscribe. We don't know what to say about the world yet. Like, give us some time to learn.
I also think the fact that we're a duo really helps. I think duos in general, if you look at a lot of the most inventive directors, they are often duos. Like Phil Lord and Chris Miller did all the
them.
Spider-Verse movies. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, which is like one of their best.
Oh,
if you haven't seen that one,
yes, love
it's
it.
incredible. Same with the Coen Brothers. They're constantly switching genre, playing with like different ways of making movies. Wachowski's obviously
Wachowski's,
it's
yeah.
like
Yeah. And if you look at solo directors, their movies are all bad.
they're really boring.
Yeah.
and they don't know how to
need
Wild.
someone
Correct.
to-
Yeah,
So
exactly.
crazy.
Yeah. No, but having two people, it forces you to try to one-up each other, to surprise each other, and when you're surprising each other, you often surprise the audience too.
Right.
And I think that's a big part of it is us having the courage together that we wouldn't have alone. I would never make the stuff I do without Daniel, and same vice versa.
Same, yeah.
Right.
I was just thinking, we just gave our keynote, and mostly he said really sincere, thoughtful things about the world, and I made self-conscious jokes.
That's our dynamic.
But it was like, but I was also reflecting on like we agree with each other a lot, and so I'm like grateful that Dan is so sincere and such a deep thinker and pushes me out of my comfort zone to like talk about the things I believe but I'm scared to say.
Right,
You know.
right.
And then it's an honor to make a stupid joke afterwards.
It's the best. Yeah, I think I would be booed off if it wasn't for the occasional stupid joke.
I would love to see you get booed off.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't love that, but it
No,
would be
they wouldn't
fascinating.
be booed. They would just fall asleep probably. if I'm
Probably,
being
I think that's
honest.
like the equivalent in the movie kind
Yeah,
of like
yeah,
industry
yeah,
of
yeah.
being booed off, right? That's the Apollo of like,
right.
It's sleep.
you know,
Yeah,
there's no umbrella, but I think the sleeping is like
Sleep.
just as
Or
worse.
you just
Yeah.
back on your phones, which is
Oh.
I see all y'all on your phones right now. So we
Unless
clearly
it's-
aren't doing a
We
good
are
job.
failing at this interview.
Although, like,
You're doing
Yeah.
your job. It's okay.
art that makes you sleepy on purpose is cool too.
That is cool. That's art.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm
this
a
movie is meant
huge
to make
fan
you.
of-
One of these
There's a
days.
YouTube video called Joe Para Talks You to Sleep.
Oh, it's a good
It's
one.
incredible. I've watched it like 15 times.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna need that because I have
it's
like
just so
massive
gentle.
insomnia.
Hey, me too. What do you take? I'm just kidding.
Hopefully, I'm gonna take this new like YouTube.
Exactly.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying.
check
Don't
it
do
out.
drugs. Yeah.
But you talked so much about your collaboration with so much love and respect and admiration. How do you navigate creative differences? You say you agree with each other a lot, but there's got to be some times where there's got to be a meeting of the minds, and
Not yet.
not yet.
Never.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's like it's like a work marriage, and like I literally have like read about like marriage counseling or like marriage therapy techniques and been like, okay, that's great. Okay, Dan and I should use I feel statements. Maybe sometimes we should take a break or start with like sandwich methoding our criticisms of each other with compliments, things like that. We've stumbled into some stuff just by accident that work so well. Like I think the main thing we talk about is that like whoever cares the most wins.
Oh.
And it's just like and I love being surprised and I love collaboration. And so like if Dan like as soon as I feel like him digging his heels in and he cares, I'm like, well, great. You seem to care a lot. Like, let's go.
And then there's the moments where we both care a lot, and that becomes usually that becomes a focal point for us because that means something is wrong with the movie, right? Something's not working. It's not as good as it could be. And we're slowly, it's hard sometimes in the moment to appreciate that and be like, oh, this is an opportunity when we are really having a conflict.
But it's like if a married couple got in a big fight about mac and cheese and you'd be like, there's something else going on.
Right,
What's
right.
beneath this mac and cheese? Why are we both digging our
Not
heels
just
in?
the mac and cheese.
But it
there's
is
always
like that.
something
Like,
else.
so we'll argue about something on a movie, and then we'll realize there's something deeper that needs to be addressed, and that's why we're digging our heels in. Is like we haven't gotten on the same page about something way bigger than like the color of the curtains or whatever.
Yeah, there's this incredible. Was it the New Yorker article?
Yeah, about duos.
But just not even in filmmaking, just across history, science and art and specific.
Most Nobel Prizes are for teams of scientists.
Right,
or a lot of
right.
times it's duos.
Yeah. And it's a fascinating read, but they really focus on these two programmers and coders for Google, one of the formative duos for that company, and just the way that they work allows them to work faster and to think outside the box in a way that is really beautiful. And I think we should be encouraging this sort of search for a synergy with another creative partner.
Right.
Even if you're not a storyteller or filmmaker, just having someone else who can really challenge you in ways that no one else can. It's like really special. I'm really lucky to have some of those kind of relationships in my life.
This is very helpful for me to hear because before I started TikTok, and which eventually turned into this, sitting on the couch.
You started TikTok?
I started on TikTok.
That's your company?
Okay.
Started on it.
I don't know. If they found out that a black man started TikTok, that would be very confusing.
I would join.
I think it'll have more
Scared of
users
that
than it
app.
does right now. So that's an alternate universe movie I like to see. But I was in advertising, and the way there's art director, copywriter. I was a copywriter in that duo, but I came into advertising not knowing jack shit about advertising, right? But my partner grew up in the advertising world because his father was a big-time art director. So we relied on each other from day one because I was able to bring in some outside thinking, and he was able to teach me about the world at the same time.
Yeah.
And we ended up creating some amazing things together. Just hearing this, I'm just kind of like,
It's really special.
Yeah, and
really
it applies like whether you're like you don't have to share titles to find collaboration like that, and you find out like so many filmmakers lean so hard on their producer or their manager or their wife who gets no credit or things like that. But it's like finding that partnership can mean so much. Yeah.
So how do you approach taking risk, and what advice do you have for filmmakers who are also kind of looking to do what you do and take those creative risks? Because you guys take a lot. And we love it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I could approach it two different.
Yeah. I mean,
let's go in unison.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
It's risky to talk in unison because people don't understand
us. Okay, great.
Perfect. I weirdly got that. I was like,
great.
that makes sense.
Honestly, the funny thing is we, because I come from animation, and I like to have everything planned, and I like to find connections. I like to tie everything up in a bow. And he comes from improv, which is really just like flying off the cuff of the seat of your pants, and just, is that even the term? Flying off the cuff?
The cuff
flying off the cuff of your pants?
Cuff of the pants.
The seat cuff of my pants.
Listen, the
You
last...
gotta bury that cuff hatchet under the baker's dozen. Okay.
Listen, the last interview we had, we created the words X-situationship, so I think we're creating something right now. So.
But
watch it.
because we have both of these skill sets, we've learned to really trust ourselves in our collaboration, where we know when there's an idea or a story worth chasing, even when we don't know how it's going to work out, because we've done this again for 15 years and we've done enough projects. We've kind of figured out how to make mitigated risks that feel really risky to outsiders, but to us feel really safe and exciting. And I think that's something that, again, having that duoship, having this really deep contrast in processes, it was really helpful early on. And so now, if we come up with an idea, oftentimes we aren't excited about the project until we don't know how to finish it. That's when we're like, okay, now this is what we're going to be working on. And so with Swiss Army Man and Everything Everywhere, and our next film that we're we're working on right now, they've always started with these unanswerable questions, and it's really fun to kind of, skydive without, and then build the parachute on the way down, kind of thing.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, so on one extreme, we try to figure it out as we go, and that's interesting and makes us work harder. And then on the other hand, it's that a lot of times we're taking like much more calculated risks than people realize, and we're like, no, we're playing to our strengths. Like we've like if you watch all our music videos, like, oh, they tested out like half the stuff they stuck in their movies, and like we figured out what people might like, or we, we do sit and talk a lot about worst case scenarios and how to avoid them, and like, oh, we're not, and I'll just completely bail on an idea even if it creatively sounds good if it's too risky for other reasons, like, oh, that could be our whole budget, or we could kill someone, or that actor's famously difficult. I don't think they would be a good collaborator, even though we could get our movie financed off them. That kind of, we're always like discussing how risky we want to be, and time will tell when we finally go too risky.
I'm waiting for that day, not to like say, oh, I'm waiting for you guys to fall, but
you just said
there's like limits of it. There's like limits of it.
Cut that out. And
I'm waiting for that day.
Yeah, you heard it here.
When you get too risky. But it's almost like when I watch Fast and Furious, the franchise, and it's like, how far can they take this? Remember, we were all rooting for them to go to space since Fast 6. It's like, when is that happening, right?
Yeah.
So it's almost like how far can we go, and how far can we push the boundaries of creativity and things like that. So I'm waiting. I really want you to win. Don't worry. See, I saved myself in that. So very prevalent conversations are happening at this conference of AI in the film industry. And we're all talking about it. There's fears of it. There's applications of it that are being thought of. Do you have any thoughts on what that means for the film industry moving forward?
What's it stand for?
Artificial intelligent.
Oh, right. Yeah, we have thoughts on that one. we probably
How
have
long do we have?
We have too many
Do we have
thoughts
a
on it.
couple hours to talk?
But we have a lot.
I think one of the things that that is really confusing about the conversation is that we have a lot of really smart people saying this is going to change the world and save us all, and then on the other hand, we have a lot of very smart people who are also working on the AI telling us this is going to end humanity. And so the tough thing is or the only thing we can all agree on is that this is going to fundamentally shift everything. Like everything is going to be changed, and we have to be really careful with these types of changes. This is part of our keynote actually. Nothing in life is for free. Evolution and progress and technology, there's always winners and there's always losers. And our collective history, we kind of have been quietly erasing what has been lost with every new technological progression, going all the way back to stone, fire, agriculture. I use this example in the talk. When something becomes too, technology is great. You get efficiency, you get convenience. All these things really help us all open the possibilities of what a society can do. But when something becomes too convenient, it becomes disposable. And when something becomes too disposable, then we run into the problems that we're having right now, which is everything is disposable. The people around us, your shoes, the planet itself. And if we allow technology to disposabilize, I'm gonna make up a word, everything at such a pace that we can't catch up and we can't rescue what is good and hold on to those things. That's the danger. I'm not against AI on principle. I'm just against the speed and the scale and scope that is being implemented. We've already seen what social media has done to all of us, and that was baby AI, right? That was just like little tiny algorithms that have made us all depressed and disconnected and just really unsatisfied with our lives. What will AI do to us, and when will we realize it before it's too late? I could go on for a while, but I just within the film industry, I think something we have to be really careful of is how do we make sure that when we do use AI, because we're all going to have to. It's in the system.
We're already using it. To your point,
exactly. We're already using it.
It's on your phone, but
how can we be really critical of our own actions and really ask ourselves every time we use it, what is it for? What are we doing? What am I devaluing in this process? What am I uplifting in this process? How can I make sure that every time I use it, I'm asking our society to have a larger conversation? Because whatever the teachers are talking about is very different from what the filmmakers are talking about or what the coders are talking about. And no one is talking about the big picture, which is this wholesale shift where we are devaluing the last thing that's left, which is our humanity and our connections to each other. And if we can't hold on to that in this transition, we're going to see a lot of pain and suffering, and it's kind of inevitable in some ways. But how can we make sure that in this transition we protect as many people as we can, and also protect ourselves as much as we can? Anyways, I could keep going. Do you have thoughts?
I'll do some bumper stickers.
Bumper sticks.
Okay.
Bumper stickers.
I'm deeply suspicious of the people who are trying to sell it to us like it's just great. They're extremely rich. They're trying to get richer, and I'm really freaked out, by Super Bowl ads being like, AI is going to be so great.
And one caveat under the bumper sticker: there are a lot of people who have really good intentions, but they're looking at this much of the picture, and they're not realizing for everything that they might do over here, there are 10 other.
Road is paved with good intentions.
Exactly. And you have to be really careful with something like AI. Keep going, bumper stickers.
Totally. One time someone pointed out to us that anytime you hear the word efficiency, someone's job might get destroyed. Just any time in life. It's hey, that's going to be a lot more efficient. And you just got to ask okay, who can't feed their family because of that new cool thing that QVC gave you, and this is a super efficiency machine. So it's a scary thing, and someone pointed out to us once that there's something called a tech ethicist, and a lot of AI companies hire these people to try to game out possible scenarios. But there's one ethicist for every 1,000 employees at these companies. It's a nightmarish drop in the bucket. And so until Microsoft hires like 50-50, ethicists like trying to do this safely and people trying to like do the cool stuff.
Right.
I'm super suspicious of whatever Adobe tries to sell me,
Needs to be
or
checks and
Microsoft tries to
balances.
like put online for free that might, destroy consensus truth in all of our elections and make it impossible to tell if any
Right.
audio or visual or writing
Right.
that you see was created by a robot or by a human.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great example, just pointing out.
They just showed me the open sea thing. Like,
Yeah.
I just saw a video of that, of the puppies like in the snow, and I was just like,
yeah.
what the hell is this?
Yeah,
Right.
it's pretty
Yeah.
wild. But like,
But don't worry, they have guardrails for all political things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course
yeah.
they do.
But I mean, it's worth
They
pointing out that
Of course
the
they
thing
do.
that Adobe created is actually this beautiful technology that allows you to dub over any voice and any voice actor to speak a different language and no longer have to have the problem of subtitles or dubbing. It's a Rosetta Stone, and every story now can be translated to everyone in the world. How beautiful, how interconnected we are.
If we were telling a story of like connectivity and collaboration, it'd be like, oh, now we can communicate better to
Yeah.
like,
So as a filmmaker, that's
Make the world
beautiful.
better.
On the flip side, when you openly, propagate that to the world, suddenly you have these problems where, and it's happening all the time now, especially with this election year. Politicians are saying things that they never said, and that this is something that we can't put back in the box.
Right.
And people say that all the time. You can't put the genie back in the box. And I'm like, I agree. Why are we releasing more genies?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
let's figure this
close all
one
the
out first.
boxes.
Exactly. Like, and so.
Walk back.
And again, we can do it eventually when we have the systems that are strong enough and responsible, wise enough to contain that power. But until then, it feels incredibly. I mean, the EU is getting ahead of it, and they're trying their best. China, actually, because they have a little bit more of a totalitarian hold, they're doing a better job of honestly regulating it. In the U.S., we're one thing I've heard
the
is
US.
Yeah, exactly. So the U.S. we won the arms race to social media, and look what it did to us. What happens if we win the arms race to AI? Obviously, this is a massive geopolitical problem that is like bigger than all these things, but we have to be really careful. Like I do think there needs to be this massive global coordinated effort on a scale that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're gonna get the Tower of Babel. We're gonna get this complete
get doomed.
destruction.
That's what
Yeah,
happens.
exactly. We're gonna have this complete destruction of our shared narrative and our ability to trust each other.
But as filmmaking goes,
Oh, no,
I'm excited for a
I'm
bunch
just
of
curious.
creative,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
funny,
Yeah.
activist, badass filmmakers to use AI to tell beautiful stories that value themselves, their self-worth,
Right.
a world that we could live in, that speak truth to power, that like make the people pulling these levers like second guess what they're doing. And if AI helps you get there to make your story that we need to hear, then like do it, but
That's
pay
it.
people well in the meantime.
That's it. Well, you did have a lot to say about that, and I loved every
going.
second of it. I loved every second of it. And now I have the final question, right? You've premiered Everything Everywhere All at Once at South by Southwest back in 2022.
Yeah.
It made a big run at the Oscars, the biggest run you could possibly do. Like, it did awards. I was at that after party. I saw Anderson .Paak screaming clean sweep throughout that entire
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
I
that was fun.
I was there. I saw it. It was fun. It was amazing.
It was a good DJ set.
He was amazing there, man. It was so lit.
Yeah.
But talk to us about like South by Southwest and like what that has meant to like your career.
Yeah. Oh my God. I really love this place and this festival. The first time we were here was 2012 with our first music video that has ever, not the first one actually, one of the first music videos that has ever played at a festival. And I was like, oh, we're allowed here too as music video directors.
Right.
Most festivals don't have a section. And so we just kept coming back every couple of years with a new video and really building a community, meeting a lot of people. I have some really formative memories that has happened here. When it came time to decide where we were going to premiere Everything Everywhere, there's a lot of different things that got passed around. And honestly, there was other places that people were suggesting and we were moving towards. But the universe really just like made it the right place, the right time. Like this was 2022, just as people were starting to get comfortable in the theaters, and our movie was ready. And we were just like, this is the best place. The Paramount Theater, with this crowd, like this movie is made for these people. And so it was honestly one of the most fulfilling, beautiful experiences of my life, premiering that movie here to that audience. And the story I tell is like, that night I didn't look at my phone once.
Yeah.
Which is like,
Yeah.
if that's not fulfillment, then what is? And so, yeah, I'm
Great.
incredibly grateful for the community. I'm incredibly grateful to Claudette, who has been, when we first came here, she was the head of shorts and music videos, and
She was that music video lady.
Yeah.
Like when we showed up, we got a very
Yeah.
warm Claudette welcome, and
this-
met a lot of other incredible filmmakers
Yeah.
making music videos there. And
But it's cool that the year that our movie premiered is also the same year that she got promoted to the head of the festival. It felt really much like we were growing together, and she's
Yeah.
become a good friend now, and I'm just really, also, she is so good at her job. It's like ridiculous how good she is at introducing movies at movie theaters. Anyways, I love South by.
yeah, it's lovely to be back. I will say I was rejected a lot when I was first starting out from here. I always wanted to come here.
Just show them what's what.
Yeah, like if people are watching this and you didn't get in with your movie that you worked really hard on, me too. That happened to me back in 2009, and it wasn't my time yet. I hadn't like cracked the nut, and then I'm also from Alabama, and the film festival there, Sidewalk Film Festival, like changed my life. And there's something about like coming to like, I love like Southern arts festivals.
Right.
You know, like
Yeah.
it's just it feels like quadruply valuable and beautiful to like see like diversity and strangeness and weirdness like happening in like a Southern state that like other people around the world might not expect. This kind of culture or energy or these kind of artists are like hustling, making crazy stuff down here. So like it feels like homey as well for me.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's amazing, y'all. Like I appreciate you guys coming on the couch and talking to me at the South by Southwest studio. This
Thank
is
you.
just as good as we said it was going to be.
I know. We did promise lying down, and we never got there.
Shall we
Right.
like
So,
lie
thanks
down
for
right
coming,
now?
y'all.
I'll lie down here. You guys lie down there. Thank you for coming to the South by Southwest studio. You can catch all the interviews on the South by Southwest YouTube page. That's youtube.com/SXSW. I'm Juju. These are the Daniels. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Relaxing. We're just gonna play ourselves out. Get some elevator music. Do 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 do.